Look, we turning conversation into application. This ain't for you if you can't handle deep communication. I see too many trying to teach when they need all the teaching. If you can't practice what you preach, then what's the point of speaking? Look, we thank the Lord for another season. Don't think they ready for you, Lee. I think them boys are sleeping. But we gon' hustle every hour like it's our last. Open up your mind, it's the converSAYtion podcast. Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the converSAYtion podcast, where we turn conversation into application. I am your host, Leon Reed Jones, and today we got a very, very special guest. I watched this person from afar, so I'm finally excited to have her on the show. We have another podcaster as well, which we're going to get into as we dive into this podcast episode. We have Miss Nichelle. How you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. So we want to start the podcast off two ways. So I asked two questions before we get started with the topic. So my first question for you is, if you had to title this chapter of your life, what would you give it? What would be the name of this chapter for you?
This chapter for me, I can give you a whole book of chapters. But no, this chapter for me would be called Standards.
Okay.
Standards. Yeah, I'm very. Right now, I'm just this chapter for me would be called Judge Judy.
Okay.
If you know me, I watch Judge Judy all day, every day. But I feel like I'm real. I've been real firm on my standards now.
Sure.
And I feel like watching her has really helped me with that. It's
Definitely.
So strange, but yeah.
So I'm kind of curious now. What made you, I guess, fall in love with watching Judge Judy, or what makes you like intrigued on watching Judge Judy?
A lot of people, when I post it on my story, they like, "Are you crazy?" Like they say they just don't like her show.
Right.
I really like Judge Judy because, for one, her discernment. As soon as you start talking, she already know. Like, she know if you're gonna win, if you're gonna lose. Her discernment,
Right.
Her discernment, and I love how strict she is, and I love how what she stand for is that it's no, well, you nice, so I'm a curve it. No, it's just so strict. Like, this is what it is. It's white or black. You're lying or you're not. You did it or you didn't. It's no in between with her, and I feel like that's how I'm starting to live my life.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. I feel like everybody that has come through the podcast this season, like, they either give a title that can be like a name of a book or like an album. So I love that. I feel like Judge Judy is more like a song, something like Sada Baby had come up with. But I like that,
sweet.
though.
I love Sada.
Yeah, I really love that, even from seeing you on social media, like, and it's funny that you say standards or Judge Judy because, this is the topic for today. I heard a NFL coach, and this has been something I've even been on with like my mentees at the mentoring program, like telling them like everybody has standards, like whether you agree with them or not, everybody, whether you like to believe it or not, has standards. Now you have to decide what that'll be for you. And so he has this saying for football players that come throughout his program, is like the standard is the standard, meaning like no matter if you a first round draft pick or you a late second round or you the most touted freshman that's coming to our team, like this is the way we do things over here. And I feel like not even in today's time, just in life in general, it's really hard for people to, as they say, stand on business with how they live their life. So, I'm just super excited to, get into this conversation. So for you have your own podcast, the Let's Talk About It podcast, which is so crazy. That was the former name of mine, but everybody had it. But yours is spelled a little different.
Let's talk, because my punch is let's talk. Well, you are not tuned in the Let's Talk podcast, where we talk less but do more. Yeah. Because I feel like it's kind of like because podcasting is to talk. Like, that's what we podcast for. We to talk, to say our opinions about certain things. Yeah. But I would like to put it into action. Like, we're going to talk about this, and we're also going to talk about what we're going to do. So
yeah, for sure. And what made you? What like sparked the idea? Like, hey, I want to create a podcast. This is something that I find I could be really great at? Like, what sparked that idea?
Well, in 2017, I used to sell like fanny packs and stuff like that, like all girly stuff. It was like feminine, SHT, all things girly. And I'm like, I want to get into vlog. No, we wasn't vlogging at this point. This was a while ago. We were blogging, like just right. I'm like, I want to blog, but I'm like, but people don't really like to read. They like to listen. So I want to talk. Like, I'm like, maybe I should do like a podcast. And it was going to be called Feminine SHT Conversations or Feminine Chats or something like that. Yeah. And then I'm like, I got to buy equipment. I got to do this. I got to do that. Never mind. I'm just not going to do it. Right. And I had a logo and everything. I'm like, I'm just not going to do it. Fast forward to December of 2023. I was giving my opinion about something on Instagram. It was basically, to make it short, it was how most black men that get like canceled, it's always at the height of their career. Like I feel like every time a black man get canceled, it's when they like doing good. Like they get canceled at the most peak of their career. Yeah. And I was voicing my opinion about that. And one of my friends had called me. I never even told him that I wanted to do a podcast. He called me. He was like, he commented on my video because I was posting on my story. He was like, you should do a podcast. I was like, oh my God. 10 years ago, I really wanted to do a podcast. Like, right. I'm like, that's what I wanted to do. He like, yeah, I just like, yo, the way you talk, the way you, whatever, you should do it. He like, this was in December. Yeah. He like, and you need to drop. I'm like, okay, well, I think about it. He like, no, you need to do it. And you need to drop your first episode before the new year. Yeah. I'm like, what? Right. It's December. I can't drop a first episode before the new year. He like, start a podcast, drop your first episode before the year. Yeah. So I recorded my first episode December 13th of 2023, and I dropped it December 16th of 2023. That was my first episode. I just did it. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like a lot of times people are like, you kind of talked about it a little bit when you were talking about your podcast and how it came to be. A lot of people, like, they think about, and I was just talking to somebody about this on my way over here, like, a lot of people's starting point is their stopping point. So, like, you think about everything that could go wrong. Like, man, that was me. Yeah, like, oh man, I can't do this in this short amount of time. I got to buy equipment. But like I was even telling you off camera, like when I started my podcast, I was going on Instagram because obviously I knew there were studios in the city, but I just didn't know, who to ask. And I was literally coming back from graduating from college. So I was in my room, and then, which is crazy now that I think about it, that I probably couldn't have recorded on the campus I was on, but like, just to think, like, I had a studio down the street from my dorm, like on the campus, and I never asked anybody, or like I never reached out. But I started on Instagram in my room. I didn't even have like a mic like this, or like a mic that you can buy off Amazon or something like that. It was just me going in there, me and my buddies getting together at the time, just putting our heads together, just talking about like stuff that we would talk about in the group chat. Because I remember it so crazy. Like, we were talking, we had like a group chat on Snapchat or whatever, and I forget what we were talking about, but I'm like, man, all this stuff we bring together and talk about, we could start a podcast. And, just because I feel like, not even with podcasting, but just as you talked about your opinion, that's a fact. Like, when you really look at it, you look at most, notably, Will Smith. Like, he even said it after he did what he did with Chris Rock. He had a conversation with Tyler Perry and Denzel in the back, and he was like, the devil start moving when you reach, the pinnacle of success. And so you look at other people, Kanye, he's had different times where he's been at the height of his career. He's said things that's crazy, or people have done things to him. And, I just feel like sometimes we miss out on, free game from people because, like, oh, well, who are you to tell me this? You're not a, popular person. You're not a LeBron. You're not a Michelle Obama. Like, but so many people miss out on advice because, or like game, because they think like you have to be of a certain status. So like, I just feel like when you got a platform, I think you just use it wisely. Me, almost everybody got a podcast now, which I'll never tell somebody not to do one, but I think it's always important to use your voice
in my opinion, the right way. So I just love, like I said, looking at your podcast, I just feel like a lot of times, like you talk in a way where it's one, relatable, but you're not doing it from a judgmental space, but like a, hey man, take care of yourself. Like don't be out here just moving.
Don't be like me, because yesterday I did this and I'm trying to tell you it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
But I don't judge.
Yeah, for sure. And so being a podcaster now and always having that dream of doing it and finally having the space now to be able to do that, what is something, if at all, like what is your favorite part about podcasting, or
My favorite part about podcasting is recording, because it's like no matter how, like now when I have a guest, I write a script, like I write on my cards and I know ask this question, but somehow, some way it never go that way. Like it just start flowing. I just love recording because my podcast is for me.
Yeah.
Like, it's for me, of course, because it's like when people say they journal every day, if I go too long without recording, even if I record an episode and don't put it out, it's how I get my relief. Like it's I do it for me. It's like a vocal diary, if you could say. I feel like podcasting is a stress reliever. My most favorite part about podcasting is recording. I love recording. I love when I can talk, because if I have an episode and they get 2 views, those 2 people tuned in because they want to know what I'm talking about. And with my podcast, the genre, I guess, or you could say, or the type of podcast I do, the only audience I really look to pacify or look to get to watch my stuff is people that want to be better in life. Yeah. So if you don't want to do nothing with your life, then don't even click on my podcast, because it's not for you.
Yeah. I love that, because again, like that's one of the things when I see you put a clip up on Instagram, or I see you post, it's like, man, that's what made me want to reach out to you in the first place, because like, I feel like your podcast is powerful and you're really like trying to take what you've learned, and like somebody told me, like, your life could be the solution to somebody's problem.
That's
so
true.
All you're doing is sharing your experiences, but you're doing it, sometimes it may be in a funny way. Sometimes it may be in, hey, like, look, I know what you about to do. And somebody could be scrolling and they can hit them.
How many times somebody wrote me like, oh my God, I needed this. Like right now I needed this. And I just try to be relatable, because it's so many podcasts, and I'm not throwing shade or anything. It's so many podcasts that keep up with the gossip. And that's what we got Shade Room for. That's what we got that stuff for. We don't need more podcasts keeping us up with the mess. I don't want to see no mess. If I see a podcast, I could like a podcast, I could watch it every day. As soon as I start seeing them with the weekly recap of the drama, I don't even watch it, because it's like I don't care. I don't want that in my brain. And I feel like once you start getting to a point where you really, really, not just saying you want to be better, but you really, really want to be better, you won't even listen to certain things. Like I went out last night, I went to a place to get some food. It got so crowded. I'm just looking around. I know people was probably like, she's so awkward. If I follow 99 people on Instagram, 70 of those people were in this place. Right. And I'm just like, and I'm sober. So I'm like, okay, no. Where's my food? I'm ready to go. Right. It's just like you just don't want to be in certain spaces no more. You don't want to do certain things. You don't want to hear certain music. You don't even want to see certain things. So that's just where I am.
So I have a question in mind just hearing you say that. But before I get to that, like I love the fact of how you like, because I'm the same way. I'm like, man, when I'm thinking about podcasts, like everything that you're saying, that's like literally me. Like, if it's only 2 views, I've had times where it's 100 views and then it's maybe only 20. But there was a period, like one time, I think it was like maybe my 3rd or 4th season, and I was ready to stop. Not because, and I never like get this way, so it was shocking that I even went through that. And I was like, man, one day it just happened randomly. Like the whole thing was just random, like that I felt this way. And I was like, I didn't get as many like views on my video that I did. I was like, man, I'm gonna probably just stop. And then my best friend, she was like, why would you do that? Like, why would you, this is something that you worked for, you put money up for, you've went to different things to, hone in on your craft, like why would you do that? And you gotta go back to your why. Like I know my podcast is for like me sharing stories, me bringing people in, talking about life experiences, the great things that they're doing, and me loving to talk and use my platform to uplift and inspire and enlighten people. You know, why would I stop doing that? And I'm just like, I wrestle between like, because everybody has a podcast now. Like even I'm a big NBA fan, so like basketball players that I would have never thought or seen creating podcasts, have podcasts, or like actors that you never would have, or celebrities, people on social, like all these people, like I never thought I would see Michael Porter Jr. with a podcast, or Trae Young, or all these different people. And it's like, it used to be a time where you didn't let any, like if you weren't of a certain class or like a certain tier, you couldn't do certain things. Now it's like, with people speaking out about stuff, because I feel like it can go left and right. I feel like speaking out is good, but I think sometimes it go bad because now everybody has their own language or definitions of different things, and sometimes they can, like you said, get on podcasts and just be talking nonsense. Like we don't need that. It's already enough of that.
Enough of that.
So it's like we have genres in podcasting, but it's like I would like to see more people, you know, talking about their experiences, not talking about what the next man is doing, especially if you're not giving them their flowers. So it's just like, I think that's so interesting because I'm like, man, it's kind of like with Instagram. Like, I ain't against people, lifestyles and all that, but I'm not hopping on Instagram just to roll up a blunt. Like, that's like, who you trying, at that point, you trying to impress somebody. You could have did that off screen or, you know, just like doing pointless stuff. If I'm going to get on here, I'm going to say something meaningful and valuable, and don't get it twisted. Like I'm a funny guy, people who know me, I'm silly, I love to have fun, making people laugh and all that, but it's just like, if I'm gonna be in this space, I want to be able to say something that's gonna help somebody, not harm them. So, but my question was, I got a question for you, just based off what you told me about like how you gave your opinion about, you know, black men, they run into the most trouble or run into different things at the height of their career. So do you feel like, in your opinion, everybody should have a platform or have a say in certain things?
What you mean?
Like nowadays, like you get people, they get on podcasts and, you know, because this person is of high status, it's like, I'm a listen to this person because...
It's some people that have, I feel like they use their platform... I'm not even gonna say they use a platform. I feel like we as people make people famous.
Yeah, definitely.
And it'd be like, I can't even say that. I'm not gonna say their names on here, but it's just like, why are we making this person with this learning disability famous? Yeah. Why are we making this man that's known for disrespecting women famous? Yeah. Why are we making this man that's known for, like, I feel like it's us. We do it. We watch them and we turn them up and we make them popping. And then when they start popping for what we made them popping for, what we thought was funny, we get mad and we try to cancel them. It's like, stop entertaining bull crap. It's just that simple. If we don't entertain a bull crap, it won't. It's so many people that like they call like one hit wonders or whatever. It's because they may post something funny or a viral video and we turn it up so crazy. Now they selling merchandise. Yeah. And they going on tours and they being guests at clubs. And it's like, this person, like, are you crazy?
Yeah, no.
I feel like it's all on. So yes, I do feel like some people shouldn't have a platform because I feel like they're not sending out the right message. And kids especially, Instagram, social media is so what word am I looking for? It's so easily influenced. Yeah. So a lot of people in our generation, well, my generation, your generation a little younger than mine. But a lot of people, they don't have discernment. So they don't know what to look at, what to read. They don't know that your thoughts become things. They don't know that, okay, I'm not gonna listen to this person because I don't even want to put that type of energy into my brain. Like they don't know that, so they just going for anything. Yeah, and it's giving anybody the platform to talk about whatever they want to talk about. It's people that should have been canceled because they're blatantly disrespectful. They blatantly hate women. Yeah, I feel like if I was walking down a dark alley and this person was walking past me, they will beat me. Like I just feel like it's us. It start with us.
Yeah.
And you would drive yourself crazy trying to think you can change the world. Just you. Reality, you can't, but you could just change yourself, change your environment, change your the people around you, and your world would be better.
Yeah.
And that's all that really matters when it come down to it.
Yeah, I agree. I love that because I think I was telling somebody last night, like, nobody really gets canceled. Like, in my eyes, I feel like nobody, because even with the, and I don't want to veer off too much into this because then people gonna get crazy, but like, I feel like even with the blackout situation, when they, you know, they were posting different things like, hey, we're not going to go here, we're not going to go there. And I kind of hate that because I respect the cause and I stand for it, you know. You know, why would you openly, it's kind of what you're saying, like, why would you openly know something and then still support, you know? So if you know certain stores don't have you in mind,
that's even backhanded though.
Yeah,
because we want to cancel Target, but we still want to buy Balenciaga.
Right?
It's just like you cannot pick and choose.
Yeah,
and this is how I'm trying to live my life. Even with my daughter being 5 and raising her, I want it to be black and white. I want it to be right or wrong. It's no in between. It's no gray area. It's no in between. And like you said, this topic of this episode is standards. My problem when it comes to standards is it should just be that. This is the standard and that's what it is. My problem is, okay, this is the standard for you, but I like you a little bit more, or me and you a little bit closer, so I'm gonna let you get away with certain things. It should not be like that.
Right. You
gonna do this or you not, and if you don't, you're just not gonna be around me.
Yeah.
It's just that it sounds that simple, but it's hard. It's so hard.
Yeah, and that just opens up another layer. That's where boundaries come in. And like, it's so crazy because I was telling my friend, like, back then, even as a teenager, like, you just, hey, this is my friend, this is my girlfriend. Like, you really didn't put people on tiers. And like, when you get older, you go through experiences, you see like, no, boundaries are important. You hear that word, but you don't really listen to it as a kid or even as a teenager. It's like when you get into adulthood, and my friend, I probably have said this almost every episode, what I'm about to say. You know, he told me, he broke it down in a way that blessed me. That's why I always got to say it. So again, for the probably 1,000th time, shout out to Cleveland for this. He was like, you know, I was asking him, like, how do you put people where they need to be? Or like, how do you like have good discernment on people in your life? And he was like, I'll tell you like this. You got to define and align your different relationships. Meaning, like, you know, the people you can go out with for brunch, but them same people, you know, you wouldn't have at a business meeting because they may not value that. You know, the same people that if you need to get some business done or you need some furniture moved around your house, you know the people you can call. But those same people that you go to a business meeting with, they may not pull up to the house and help you because they value two different things. And a lot of times I feel like people are so scared to put this person, so to speak, it sounds like rude, but I mean, that's what you literally have to do. Put a place in where they belong, you know, like place this person in their proper spot. Like, yeah, no, we're not best friends. I may be your best friend, but you're not my best friend because of, again, standards and boundaries. And you literally said what I was saying about it. Cause it's like, yeah. And a lot of times I don't say nothing because I don't want to feel like I'm not the person that's going to like, I'll speak out on stuff, but I'm not, because people are so like terrible on social media. You'll say one thing.
I'm gonna say this was it, and this what you gotta do. You have to say what you mean, and then after end be like, and don't at me, don't DM me, don't write me, don't do nothing. I don't care what you gotta say. This is how I feel, and that's just that. Yeah,
like I feel like with that situation, like the blackout, like you said, and that's literally how I felt. But I kind of looked at it from a different perspective, or used like a different story. I'm like, okay, well, these same people was doing this during the pandemic, like, say her name, but y'all, okay, now it's 2025, y'all on to the new thing, y'all still ain't supporting that. If you really not on that, don't get on, because it's one thing to be wrong, but if you loud and wrong, it's a whole different level.
That's what some people don't even do research.
Yeah, and it's like, for me, okay, I'm cool if we all in on this is what we say we gonna do, but let's not do this for a season or for like a few days and then we back to
like, know the reason you're doing it and make it stick, because if you really know the reason of doing something, you're not just gonna do it for one day.
Yeah,
so that's how I feel about that.
Yeah, it's just like, it's, to me, I think again, it's like standards. And me, I learned this from my dad. Like, you treat the garbage man the same way that you treat the CEO. Because at the end of the day, the only difference is their job title. And I'm not going to treat you any different because your living conditions is different than mine, or you may be in most people's eyes less than or whatever. Like, I show the president the same respect that I would show my brother. Like, at the end of the day, they both people with feelings. I don't do I'm going to treat him a tad bit better. I'm going to, like you said, I'm going to let you slide because I've been knowing you for 10 years and I only been knowing this person for a month. Like, no, that's not... You're not really living up to your standards. So for you, like I said, I feel like watching your podcast, you're always giving people like game. I know you said it's not advice, but like
it's not advice. I just tell you, I just get situations that I've went through that I know a bunch of people are going through, and I tell you how it worked out for me. Now I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna tell you I went through this same situation. This is how it worked for me. What you do with this information is on you. Right. But this is what I did, and this is how it worked for me. So if you're thinking about doing it how I did it, no, it's a possibility that this is going to be your turnout. Yeah. But hey, you got to end with, but hey, you know,
do what you want.
Do what you feel is best for you.
So for you, why do you feel like what has been some things that made you firm in the standards that you have? What are some standards? If you had to name at least 3 to 5 standards that, hey, this is what it is. No matter who you are, no matter what role you play in my life, these are the standards that I live by.
Well, first you asked me why I got firm on my standards. I got firm on my standards mostly in my dating life because every time I give a man the benefit of the doubt, I get the doubt. And they get the benefits. But I some standards I have now, my most important period is number 1, my daughter come first. I don't care if we have plans to go to Waikiki at 5. If my daughter comes first in my life over everything. I try my best when I get into friendships or even relationships to tell people like I am a single mom. I need time to plan it. Like, it gotta be planned. I can't just jump and move like I used to. So my daughter come first. What do I have? Like I said, I have so many. It's like my daughter come first. Another standard I have with friendships, I'm gonna do family, friendships, and I'm gonna do relationships. Okay, family, my daughter come first, period. With friendships, if me and you friends, your other friends should not know none of my business. Right. Not nothing. Relationships, you have 1 strike, not 3. I'm sorry. It's certain things. As far I don't deal with other women at all. Right. You not calling or texting me back at a timely fashion, that's strike 1. Now you may get 3 strikes with that one, but I'm very firm on relationship wise. I do not deal with other women. Like, if I even get a hint if somebody else, I'm gone. And I love me more than I love you, so I'm always gonna choose me. I'm always going to choose me because a man is going to choose himself every time. For sure. And that's just how I feel. That's how I feel.
So why would you say like a man is on strike 1 if he don't text you back? What's the orderly fashion for you? What time do you have to text you back? Like, what's he taking too long?
It depends. If you at work, okay, whatever. But I just feel like you know your partner. Right. So if every time I'm with you or every time you anywhere you got your phone in your hand, it's no reason for you to be taking so long, for you to take so long to text me back. Yeah. Or a call or anything. Like, I know me being older and me dating older men now that actually have things to do instead of dating YNs that don't be doing nothing all day. Older men that actually have things to do. I know you're not able to sit and text me all day. So, you know, call me. Okay, I'm doing this today. I'll call you later. Yada yada. That works fine. Yeah. But to not communicate with me, especially if I know you're not doing nothing for real, like nothing that to make you not have your phone in your hand, I just feel like it's inconsiderate and it's very disrespectful. Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Kind of formed another question, right? How do you feel about like when people say like, "Oh, I'm busy"? Because I know how I feel about it. I'm not saying like I'm not saying like I'm not speaking like from a relationship standpoint, like about how we were just talking about like what's the orderly fashion to text you or whatever, but like just any form of relationship, like, oh, I'm busy and like, but this is becoming a pattern where it's like you hate more.
If you always busy, too busy, you hate me. I'm sorry. And this sounds so cliche. This is going to sound very, 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 very cliche, but you make time for what you want.
Right,
it's just that simple. Like, I said this on one of my episodes, it backfired on me so bad. If I tell you I don't have a babysitter, I don't like you. This is something I said on my episode before. Because it's like, if I want, you make time for what you want. I'll figure it out. I'll make time for us to. So if I be like, oh, I don't want a babysitter, just stop texting me because I don't like it. This is what I said before, but one time I really didn't have a babysitter and I said that and the person was like, on one of your episodes you said, I'm like, oh.
He was watching.
So no, but I really feel like you make time for what you want. And me being me, but realistically, delusional me, text me back, call me all day, text me all day. Realistically speaking, grown, mature me, that, you know, people have other things. The people's world don't revolve around me. Mm-hmm. So just communicate with me. I'm real busy today, so I'm gonna call you later. It's that simple.
Yeah, for sure.
But for me to text you like, what you doing, and you not say nothing, you on Instagram, you doing this, you doing that. I see you, and then you call me like, oh, what you do? The person you have dialed is no longer accepting calls. Because no, I feel like that's very inconsiderate, and women just want reassurance.
Yeah, for sure.
And I want it even in my friendships. Like my friends, they be like, they probably want me to get a man so bad. Like, why you didn't call me back? And they're like, oh, I was busy doing what? So yeah.
No, it was just interesting. Like that's always a question I have, like for just people in general, because it's like I stand firm on that too. Like you make time for
what you want.
Yeah.
So just communicate with me. Like I'm real busy today. Work is crazy today. I even did it before. This is how I knew I liked somebody. I was on my way to work, and I'm like, dang. I'm going to a facility that don't really let us have our phones. So I text this person like, I'm going to this facility that don't really let us have our phones. So I'll just call you on my lunch. When I sent that, I was just like, oh my God, like I really like this person. To even take that into consideration, I'm on my way to work already thinking about me not being able to communicate with you like I regularly would. So let me just communicate and tell you that I'm going to be busy at work. I will call you on my lunch, or I will text you on my lunch. And it's just things, it's that simple.
Yeah. I just find it like important to ask that, because just hearing different people's perspectives. So like, what would you say to a person in response that hears you saying this and is like, hey, well, that's because I heard this lady say one time, she like, you know, growing up, like, you know, sometimes some people, they have a difference in opinions, or like they communicate in different ways. But it's like she said, as we got older, you know, we learned how to communicate, her and her friends, on like, hey, I'm busy today, I can't do this. And for me, I'm the same way. Like, that's all it takes. But sometimes people think like, well, why do you deserve to, like, why do I deserve to do that? Or like, sometimes they feel like you being inconsiderate, just saying like, hey, you make time for what you want. But that is a fact. So like, what would you say to a person who has that mindset like, well, I don't
You're a
need to let you know?
I would say you're a gaslight narcissist. Because for one, how hard is it for you to pick up the phone and say, real busy today, I'll call you later? Or call, hey, I'm real busy today, but I'm going to call you later, and hang up. If you feel like I'm not worth reassurance, or if you feel like I'm not worth 5 seconds of your time, Barack Obama is texting Michelle, like, please. And that would, like, who's more busy? Like, seriously, if you don't feel like I'm worth that little gesture, because that's very bare minimum gesture. Yeah. If you don't feel like I'm worth that gesture, then you're just not for me, period. Friend, family, or man. Like, for real.
For sure. Definitely. And so you kind of answered one of my questions, like, about like what experiences that you had, like, you know, to a certain degree, but like what is like a real live situation that happened that said, okay, this is where I got to turn my life. Not to say like your life was like crazy or nothing like that, but like, what was a real life experience that you was like, okay, of course, if you don't mind sharing, but like, what's a real life experience that made you say, you know, this is why my standards have to be this way?
3 men were texting me on a consistent basis, and I didn't get nothing for my birthday in 1 year, last year. And it's like, not what you doing every day until my birthday comes and you don't even get me nothing. I'm like, oh my God, no. Like, I don't even play like that. I'm like, what's going on? Like, I'm wake up every morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, you doing beautiful? Hey. And then on my birthday, it's like, what you gonna do for Big Mama for real? What you gonna do for me? I didn't get anything. And I'm like, okay, I got nothing. Okay. Lock in. Why? What are you doing to make them think that it's okay to call you and text you and take up your time and not even take the smallest consideration for your birthday?
Yeah.
And I'm a bit how a person treats you on your birthday is how they feel about you. Period. Women too. That goes both ways. I'm not one of them one way person. It's the same. And for people in my life, friends, whatever, if your birthday come around, I look at birthdays as a big deal. So I'm going all out. So to wake up and I was just like, I gotta do better. Yeah. And people be thinking I'm gonna have like this crazy serious moment, but that's literally the moment for me. I woke up 1 year on my birthday and I didn't get nothing, and I was just like, okay, it's no reason none of these people should be talking to me. And I'm not even from a standpoint of, and it wasn't even just men. It was like women, like friendships I had on their birthday may have came, and I may have sent them flowers, or I may have dropped them off some stuff at their door on my way to work, and I work at 7 a.m. and I may have I make an effort to make a person know how much they mean to me. Yeah. So for me to wake up and there's people telling me they like me and they love me and they want this and they want that, and you didn't even think about me to even do anything on my birthday. You could have got me one single rose. Like, so that was my turning point when I realized people don't really care about you. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, that's good.
To this day, this guy always texts me like, I love you. I'm like, you hate me. My birthday in 2023, you didn't give me anything. So yeah, that was my turning point. I woke up 1 year on my birthday and I didn't feel the love. And I'm not gonna say nobody got me nothing, but it's people that I feel like should have just even put forth a little more effort that didn't. So that year on my birthday, when I woke up and I just didn't feel the love, I'm like, okay, Judge Judy, let's go.
For sure. And before we get into this next segment, what I want to do is, I'm big on giving people their flowers while they can smell them. So once again, I'm so happy that you came to the podcast. And I also love giving people the opportunity that if they have any events, any, businesses that they have, in this case, you have a podcast. So I want you to take this time to let the people know where they can find your podcast.
Okay, you can find, which camera? Okay.
Either or.
Okay. You can find Let's Talk Podcast on YouTube, Let's Talk Podcast, LESS Talk Podcast, TikTok, Let's Talk Podcast, Instagram at Let's Talk Podcast. I just started a book club. Okay. I started last week, but today we picked our book, so I'm doing Let's Talk Books. If you would like to join my book club, just write me on Instagram on my personal page, Nichelle Shantae, or Let's Talk Podcast. It does not matter. And that's really all. That's really it. Just TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I will be having some merch come spring, some podcast merch for unisex. It'll be for men and women. And that's really it. Just check me out on all my social sites.
For sure. All. And now we're getting ready to go into the Let Me Get to Know You portion of the podcast. So before I ask some of these other questions, you kind of spark another one for me. So in your eyes, because again, everybody's standards is different. This is the topic for today. So for you, what would you feel like is the bare minimum in a relationship? And then what is like over the top in your eyes?
Bare minimum differs. Bare minimum differs because do it. I don't know, because it's like I've dated men with different status. I've dated a man that work at Ford. I've dated a man that work at a nursing home. I've dated a man that don't work. I dated a man that I just never knew. He was like Tommy. I never knew what he did for work. So I can't say I hold them all to the same standard. I don't expect a Louis bag from Tommy because I know he make a lot of money. I just don't know what he do. And then the man that work at the nursing home or whatever, or post office or just a regular 9-to-5 job, I don't expect something smaller from him. I just really bare minimum is not being thought about. Like it's really the thought that count. Tommy can have $1 trillion. Tommy can have $1 trillion, and he can bring me over on a Friday night, my favorite takeout. We can order my favorite movie, and we can watch TV, and I am fine with that. And then Joe, he might be a waitress, I don't know, and he can do the same thing, and I'm going to look at it both on the same status. And then Mother's Day come around, or Valentine's Day come around. Tommy don't buy me nothing. Joe don't buy me nothing. Or Joe just buy me a little handwritten card. And then Tommy buy. It's like, it's all about, it's the thought that count. You know your partner both ways. So I know my partner. I know Tommy and I know Joe. Something that's bare minimum for Tommy, like Tommy may go out to eat to nice restaurants every week. Even if he go by himself. Because this is just what Tommy do. Because Tommy don't, who knows? Tommy's very mysterious. Then Joe, he may not really be able to afford to go out to eat once a week. So, okay, I'm changing it. Because bare minimum is not the same. It's different. Because Joe may not be able to go out to eat every week. Because he make less money. So he may not be able to do that. So if Joe just taking me to a nice restaurant, that's very high for Joe. Because Joe don't really got it like that. He's really making a way to treat me. Whereas as far as Tommy, he's about to go here whether he go with me or not. So him just taking me to this restaurant is just like, all right, come on, let's go. So I believe bare minimum is it's just like it's who you dealing with, and you know who you dealing with. Because like I dated a guy before, and he used to be like, yeah, we went out to eat. This is when I asked him about other people. Like, yeah, I took her out to eat. Like, I would have went out to eat by myself. Like, it's not a big deal. We just went and got food, and she came with. Like, it's all based on who you're with, because it's different. You get different sides of people. All the time. So it's just like, I think the bare minimum is just really from a rich man or a poor man is not being thought about. It's really a thought that counts.
For sure.
Because I'm a person where I just don't want money as a gift. And that's some women be like, what? Like, I don't just want you to hand me money. That is the most thoughtless gift. Like, just it's you didn't think about me. That's what I meant. You didn't take me into consideration to know what I like. It was a post on Instagram, and it said, y'all need to learn y'all partner. You bought her $1,000 bag and she just needed a hug. Like, you just never, you have to learn people to know, like, bare minimum, what might be bare minimum to me may not be bare minimum to somebody else. I went like on like axe throwing and folding, like on this cutesy little date with a guy. And my friend was like, what? Like, ugh. And I'm like, I'm ready to tell you, like, I had a blast. And she like, like, you should have went to dinner and this and this and this. And I'm like, that was what worked for you. For me, I like to do stuff. So I like the little, folding. But then you also let people get in your head, because then I'm like, why didn't he take me out to eat? So I just feel like bare minimum is just all being taken into consideration. Like, a person, your partner. So
for sure. And
putting an effort into it. If I know you put an effort into it, I'm not gonna call it bare minimum, because that'd be like, it'll make a person not want to do nothing else for you ever. Because like, damn, I put my effort into this and she calling it bare minimum, and they could have did so much just to make this little thing happen. So it's really based on like how you being taken into consideration. Yeah,
definitely.
And I feel like the top of the line, like the opposite of bare minimum, is a person taking your feelings and your interests into consideration and actually planning something. I love a plan something.
For sure.
I don't care if you planning for us to take a nap. I love something that's planned. Like, to take me into consideration and actually planning something, that's like the best. Regardless. It could be a movie date, but it's planned. Like, we doing this at this time, I love plan. I feel like when a person plans something, they care about, not only they care about you, they care about your time. I'm very, very big on time. And a person you don't get it back. As cliche as it sounds, you really don't get time back. So a person taking you and your time into consideration and planning something is the top of the line for me.
Definitely. All right, so next question. Out of the places that you vacationed at, what has been the best experience for you?
New Orleans.
New Orleans. Why New Orleans?
It's just you wake up, party, go to sleep, party, wake up, party, go to sleep, party. Party wise, New Orleans was. I had a blast in New Orleans. I want to say like a vacation-y, like beach type thing would have to be St. Thomas. I've been to St. Thomas, I believe, 3 times or twice. I think twice. St. Thomas. I love St. Thomas.
Okay. Name 5 of your favorite black actors
I'm scared.
in a movie that you like of theirs.
Idris Elba. Is that how you pronounce his name? Mm-hmm. Idris Elba, my favorite movie. And this movie is like 3 hours long, and I watched it 1 trillion times. So you do the math on that. Harder They Fall, Idris Elba.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Honestly, all the actors I like is on that movie, but I just don't know all their names. But Harder They Fall, that movie is top tier. I should have been born in those times, riding a horse. But Idris Elba, Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, Jonathan
Majors, Harder They Fall.
Okay.
Both of those actors in that movie, that's when I first, and when I told you about me starting a podcast, that's what I was talking about.
Oh, wow.
Jonathan Majors, right? Majors. When they just did him like that, like, please crazy. Chill on my boy. When they did him like, that's what I was talking about when the guy was like, you should start a podcast. So, Idris Elba, Harder They Fall, Jonathan Majors, Harder They Fall, and what was it, Creed 3?
Yeah,
I liked him in Creed 3 too. Creed 3, Denzel Washington. Fun fact about me, never seen Training Day. Don't want to see it. Denzel Washington, my favorite movie with him, oh my God, Gladiator. Gladiator, the first Gladiator is my most favorite movie. That's my favorite genre of movie, those type of movies. It's so weird, I know. Gladiator 2, Denzel Washington. Will Smith, Pursuit of Happiness. 5, what's that man's name? You know Paradise, the series Paradise.
It sounds familiar.
It's a new series everybody watching, Paradise, but I don't even gotta put that one in there. Who is my 5th? You said black.
Yeah.
Who would be my 5th person? Tyrese, baby boy.
Okay. Yeah, that's a fire list.
No. Scratch Tyrese off. That was a cheat. That was cheating. Mike Epps, All About the Benjamins.
Okay, that's crazy because somebody else said when I asked him, I didn't ask the same question.
Can I change it one more time?
Yeah, go ahead.
What's his name?
What's some of his movies?
The Wash. What is his name?
The Wash. I never heard of that.
You never seen The Wash? D.A. Wash?
Oh.
You never seen that? No. Oh my God. The Wash. What is his name?
Are they strictly an actor?
He knows Snoop Dogg too. Dr. Dre. Oh. The Wash.
I would have never guessed it.
You gotta watch The Wash. Find The Wash. It's D.A. Wash, not The Wash. And you gotta watch the most funny movie of all time.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. Okay.
I could have just did 10. Now it's rolling like in my brain.
Facts. I would say for me, I would go Denzel Washington. I'm gonna pick one of his, I wouldn't say lesser movies, but movies that most people wouldn't pick. I like Equalizer too. I just like the message that he gave the young kid that was a painter, and he was trying to be a thug, and he was like, man, you don't know what death is, and like just tell him like you don't want that life, you want this life that you're trying to work towards. I would say Michael B. Jordan because I like how they took the Rocky.
I should have said him.
I like how they took the Rocky multiverse and made it into like the Apollo Creed series, and I feel like he did a great job in all of them. I especially like Creed 3. I think Creed 2 is the best out of all of them. Then Creed 3, but Michael B. Jordan, Denzel Washington. I would say I like the job that Samuel L. Jackson did in Coach Carter.
Mm-hmm. How did I say him?
I like Morgan Freeman and Lean on Me.
Oh my God, you took all the good people.
I like that, like how he just motivated the kids. And lastly, I like Kevin Hart and what's the one that he did when he had to raise his daughter on his own.
I was just thinking about that one. Yeah. As soon as you said his name.
Yeah, that's the one I enjoyed that one. Like how he just raised, and you got to see it from a different light. Not to say that, you know, there aren't single dads out here, but it was just cool.
It's not a lot of movies based on single dads.
Yeah, so that was one for me. If you had to pick a movie or a show to describe who you are, what would that be?
To describe me like what?
Like a part of your personality.
The Office. Abbott Elementary. The Office is my most favorite. Wait, The Office was my most favorite show, but now I just got on Abbott Elementary. I just finished was it 8 seasons? However many seasons, I just finished them. I'm neck and neck to Abbott Elementary and The Office because it's dry humor. It's like, I love it. I'm about to go home and rewatch some episodes. I'm
one of those people. I'm not going to say I hate The Office, but
oh my God.
I'm like, bro, I don't understand. My older brother, he loved The Office. Some of my friends from college, they love, like, I'm like, bro, I don't see why y'all watch this.
I went over my friend's house yesterday and I turned it on. He was like, what is this? I'm like, you have to, you just know. It's a certain, you either got it or you don't with The Office. Yeah. Some people like it, some people don't. It's no in between.
Yeah, for sure. What is a new hobby that you either have picked up or you would like to pick up?
A hobby I would like to pick up. Well, I've recently been in my reading bag. I've been reading a lot. But a hobby I would like to pick up, and I used to do it, is skating. I used to skate a lot, but I haven't been in a long time. So I would like to start back doing that.
All right. Cool. What would be some advice that you would give somebody watching this podcast today? What's some free game you got for them? I know you don't like advice, but a situation or experience that you would give somebody, pass on to somebody.
In our generation, we live in a world where you want to be where you're praised for thinking that you don't need nobody.
Yeah.
I don't need nobody. And from a very, very, very independent woman to you, all you need is one real friend to believe in what you're trying to do. Like one person, you only need one person. Like I told you, the guy called me like, you need to do a podcast, and I was just on it.
Yeah.
I call other people, they like, everybody got them, man. You need one person to genuinely believe in you and genuinely rock with you. If you don't really have that self-motivation, because I'm more of a self-motivation too. Like, I could really get myself to going, but it is so good having that one person that just believe in you. Like, no matter what you do, you could be selling cookies today and then writing a book tomorrow, and you're going to see them on both days. Yeah. It's just, you need that one person. Like, I feel like you really need that one person to believe in you. And one more thing I would say is to always do what you want to do. Because you would hate to get older and be like, dang, I should have did this. I'd rather you do it, see that it don't work for you, and then pivot to something else than to just not do it at all.
Yeah, I love that.
Because you just never know.
Yeah, for sure. You never know how could you know when your breakthrough will come if you just stop? So I love that, man. I want to, again, thank you for coming on to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
For sure. And thank y'all for tuning in to the Let's Talk About It /converSAYtion podcast.
Let's Talk podcast.
Yeah, Let's Talk, where they do
talk less but do more.
Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see y'all same time, same place.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
My question to you is, how do you remember all your